If you have small kids, you probably don't want them to watch this video, because this video is not going to be a good video for kids. I'm just gonna say it. Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Yes. I have a couple of stories for you guys today. I don't know if I wanted to share these stories, but all right. The first story is a very, how do I say it? It is a very sensitive topic to me, because this is something that I don't like to talk about, but we're going to talk about it today because sometimes in your life there are things that happen that you just can't explain. Some of these things that happen are what we call life lessons. This lesson I had to learn the hard way. We're gonna call this story Dante. Yeah, it took place when I was in the 9th grade. So school was maybe hour and a half trip from, at the time we were in Heilbronn. So we had to catch the bus from Heilbronn to Stuttgart. So I went to school at Stuttgart High. And this was like in 91. Yeah, this was in 91. I would go to school, I would get on the school bus with this kid named Dante. And Dante was like the class clown. Dante was so funny, and he always had so much energy, and he always was just full of laughter and jokes, and he just was like the life of the party. And I remember, do you remember that song, The Humpty Dance? That was like one of his favorite songs, and whenever that song came on, like, you know, everybody was like, you know, on the school bus, be jamming to it and everything like that. Dante, he loved to play so much, and he always had a joke, and he was always jonesing on somebody, clowning on somebody, and you didn't always just feel like dealing with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just wasn't always in that mood to deal with him. And like, he was able to get the whole crowd to laugh at you. So I'm on the bus one day, and this happened for so long. This happened for many months. Every day on the bus, Dante always had something to say. And it seemed like he always had something to say to me. You know, looking back at it now, I'm like, well, maybe he just liked me. Maybe he had like a little crush on me or something like that, because he wasn't the cutest guy, but he wasn't ugly either. He did have some fashion sense about himself. He was totally funny, you know what I'm saying? But he wasn't the dude that like everybody was on. You know what I mean? He was just, you know, like your brother or something like that. So anyways, he was always teasing me, and it never stopped. This particular day, I don't know. I think he just caught me on a bad day. I was one of the kids. I was a kid who got teased at school. And so my days at school were rough. Girls just like to bully me, and it was just a lot of that going on with me. So I had my own problems, and then I would get on the school bus, and then I would have to deal with him. And it was just really stressful. I remember feeling very stressed. So this particular day, I get on the school bus. It's we're headed home, and Dante decides that he wants to clown. And he wants to say some crazy things. I can't even remember what he said this day. I just remember I was so ticked off, and I was so mad. I've never been that mad before in my life. I was like livid. Like, he said some stuff, and I kept saying, stop playing, would you be quiet? Why don't you stop playing? You know, we would go back and forth until I finally just got so mad that I said to him, I hate you so much. I felt it in my soul. And I said it loud, and I said it fast, and I said it with so much power behind it. I hate you. I hope that when you go back to the States that you get hit by a Mack truck. Dante went back to the States like months later. Everybody knew he was going back to the States because you talk about it back then. You're just like, you just know when your parents, like, you come down on orders, you know that it's time to go. Or sometimes if the kids were like, had like disciplinary issues and things like that, they will have to leave Germany and they will have to go back to the States. And I think at that time, I think he was one of those ones that had to go back to the States to like live with his dad, I think. I remember being at school, and I remember we all had to go to like the, I think it was like the chapel, the church or something like that in the school. And they told us that Dante, he died. He actually was running away from home, and he was walking on a highway when he got killed. He got hit by a truck. I was like, I thought it was something that I did. I thought it was my fault. For like a lot of years I kept feeling like that was me. Like, you never should say anything like that to anyone. You shouldn't. You should never say things that you don't mean. And you should just never say bad things. But yeah, I said it, and years later I wondered, like, did I, like, I don't think I caused it, but did I see something, or did I know something? I don't know. That's something that happened in my life. Like, you can comment below, let me know what you think, what you feel, or whatever like that. However, let me say this, I'm really limited as far as like what I want to hear and what I want to read, so tread lightly on that one. I think I will share another story another time. That was a lot. That was kind of heavy. All right, I was on the fence about whether or not I wanted to do a Halloween Ends review, but I said, let me give you guys my thoughts about what I thought about the movie, because that's what I'm here for. That's what we do, right? If you have not watched the movie and you plan on watching the movie, you may want to watch another video, because this is going to be a all-out spoiler alert. Boy, I'm gonna tell y'all everything. I thought the beginning of the movie was really, really cool, right? I like the way the camera like captured all of like the feels of the first Halloween. Oh my gosh. Even inside of the house where the Corey, I think that's his name, where Corey was in the house and he was babysitting. Did you remember the sofa that he was sitting on? That, oh my gosh, did that not remind you of the first Halloween when Lori was inside the house watching TV? What? Remember that? When she looked out the window and she saw Michael Myers? So right off the bat, I was like, yo, I'm feeling this. I'm getting all the vibes. I'm grabbing my blanket. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got my popcorn, my drink. I'm at home actually watching this on Peacock, which is like, yo, the best thing ever. That was like the first scene I was like all in. All right, when he goes inside the kitchen, right? And then he just hears like a thud. And you're like, what the hell was that? I was like, yo, I'm feeling this. I'm feeling it. It foreshadows the knife. So, like he walks out of the kitchen and he goes like around the house looking for the kid that he's watching, and he doesn't find the kid. And so then he goes all the way upstairs, and you're just kind of like, what's really going on? When he gets upstairs and he gets locked in the attic, and then the kid is like taunting him and all that kind of stuff like that. The parents are like right there, so close. They're like right there. Y'all, when she gets out the car and you see her shoes and she starts to walk inside the house, right? And then you see how he, accidentally, killed the kid. He goes off the balcony, off the banister down to the first floor, and the parents walk in and they're just like screaming, or they're just, and all that emotion is there. And it just brought me back to the first one. I was right there. I was like, yo, this is gonna be so good. I was all in. So the beginning of the movie, in my opinion, started out superb. Superb. Keep in mind, I had never, like, I haven't heard anything about the movie before watching it. So I didn't have any spoilers or anything like that. I didn't know what to expect or anything. Yo, that one, the beginning of the movie was so good. I was so happy. So then there's that beginning, and then there was the part that followed the beginning of the movie. You know, the part where he's being teased and, you know, he's being bullied by some kids, some high school kids, and things start to happen and you start to see him transitioning from like good to evil. That was kind of like the part where I was kind of like, what the hell is happening here? Because I felt like his segment was too long. I'm just gonna put it out there. I felt like his segment was too long. It was just too damn long. I did not like his part. The whole town hated him pretty much. They just had so much anger towards him, and he got bullied so bad, and he internalized all of that, and it came out in a way that it shouldn't have came out. Like, it came out in a bad way. Like, he became a killer. And it's kind of like, did he already have that in him? Because when you looked at his mom, you saw that there was some neglect. You saw that there was some abuse in his childhood. So it's like, okay, here we are with this mental illness aspect of it. And yo, I don't know about for you, but for me, that kind of killed it for me. I don't know, maybe because I work in the field. For those of you who do not know, I work in a prison and I deal with mentally ill inmates every single day. So for me, when I'm watching something like that, I'm feeling like I'm at work. You know what I'm saying? Because like, they're telling you guys, they're showing you guys all the mental illness signs, the flags and everything like that. They are popping out more so now in these movies than ever before. Before, back in the day, you would have to try to figure out like, what's going on with him? What happened to this kid? Why did he kill his sister and things like that? But now they are putting the pieces together for you as you're watching the movie. It leaves no room for you to try to figure out what's going on. So for me, I was just like, are we really doing this? This is a whole thing about this kid right here and how he's internalizing this anger and this evilness, and he's turning into this monster. And then he meets Michael Myers, and then the weirdness begins. It's even more weirdness. Michael Myers becomes the teacher and he is the student. And then Corey starts to idolize Michael Myers, and then they just kind of, it's just weird thing that just happens in the middle of the movie, and it almost bores you. It almost leaves you bored because you're like, what's happening? You know what's happening, but you're like, I don't care about that story right there. I don't care about that story. I want to know about this story over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, when is Michael Myers going to like show up? In the middle of the movie, I became so bored. When my interest came back, it's when the kid showed up at the junkyard. That's when I was like, okay, let me watch the rest of this. That part of it, it got boring, and then they rushed this whole segment. All the kills were like rushed. You know what I'm saying? Like the dude at the radio station, the high school kids, like all of that was like rushed. I felt like to get to the part that mattered the most is like when Laurie and Michael Myers like got together. I'm like, finally. That part of the movie was pretty good. The ending, like the way he was killed, I mean, the fight scene was good between the two of them, but I kind of wish that there was a little bit more of a fight scene between the two, because it was just kind of like, I don't know, are y'all just too old to be fighting each other right now? Because we went from a whole y'all fighting each other throughout the whole movie to like we just only getting 10 minutes of y'all fighting each other. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of was not satisfying for me. Yeah, I mean, everybody is going to have their own opinion about this film. There are parts of it that were written decent, and then there were just parts that were like thrown in there, rushed in there, and it was like, what? I didn't like the way that I didn't like the way it ended. However, I did find myself crying at the end, and I was like, girl, what is going on with you? It was like they started showing scenes from like the other movies, you know what I'm saying? Like they started showing her when she was young, and I'm seeing like the old movies. Overall, I would have to say I was not satisfied. As a content creator, I get it. I understand. Sometimes we make content and it is so hard for people to like everything you do. Not everybody is going to like everything you do. Heck, I just did a video and only like 200 people watched it. So I'm gonna put that at the end of this video, and y'all are going to watch that because that's gonna be your homework for tonight. I'm curious to see like what everybody in general is thinking about the movie. I can't even imagine how Jamie Lee Curtis must feel right now. It's like, if this is how it ends, throw the whole franchise away. I hate to be so mean, but like that's just the truth. I mean, like, yo, if that's the way it ended, I'm like, throw the whole franchise away except for like 1 and 2. Let me know, comment below, let me know, what are your thoughts? Did you watch Halloween Ends, and did it end right to you?